There are two challenges when it comes to building applications for employees in the GenAI space, that too specific, because sometimes we don't know what's the use case. Like some customers may not be even knowing like what kind of a use case I can build for my employee, so I can see a lot of productivity with him, or maybe in terms of efficiency increasing, right? So there is a small what the platform of Kore, like the tools that we offer and the customer needs need to come together. Then we used to see a lot of valuable features being deployed to the customer, and we started seeing the active usage of all the employees whoever started using in the pilot mode, and they will start seeing the value out of it. So before I get into those particular aspects of it, I want to know, like, anyone here in your orgs like tried deploying GenAI based solutions for your employees? Like anyone tried? Or experimentation maybe? You are using Microsoft Copilot, or with Copilot at least you might be using some such use cases. Probably it may be getting answers from SharePoint and all. Have you tried seeing any value there, like, or challenges maybe?
Like search for information and
Yeah.
go to the SharePoint and get the information.
Yeah, that's what the base Microsoft Copilot provides, right?
Works
Fine, good.
fine. Give some information.
Okay, sometimes it hits, sometimes the problem is you may not be getting what you may be looking for, right? Yeah, that's common thing we heard. But any automation use cases someone tried with GenAI products within your employee or experimented with it, or any process related things like maybe some Gendesk ticket or some ticket got created, automatically categorizing it and adding some labels to it, or searching in the nearby customer tickets, anything of this problem is there, is it resolved? So it will be auto populated in comments. Any of such use cases anyone tried? Like, what we are seeing is there are three levels people are seeing value, depends on the persona of the employee. Of course, developers and all, they love to see, okay, I go to ChatGPT, I ask for some code, it gives, I use it in my IDE and I am happy with it. But when it comes to finance or marketing, they always love to see in terms of generative use cases. They want generate a blog for me, this is the content, this is the format. People who are very damn good at prompt engineering, they do with Claude or OpenAI, ChatGPTs and all. And also we see some use cases which are very high value use cases are mostly around analytics. People want to get like insights about what's happening in the CRM data, where the, like even in project management kind of things, why some tasks are going out of planned times and all. They want to know some insights, which typically PMMs and all does, right? So where we've seen the areas we see is there's always a search problem in the enterprises. When I say search, like the way people use Google, they can't use Google within enterprises. So, but now the way we see with products like ChatGPTs, Perplexities and all, you can do web search. In fact, I will show you in a demo quickly. So where you type some search and say it gives you answer. It's not even referring, right? So, but imagine if you can get that kind of an answers from the data, which is you are entitled to see in your enterprise systems, is the biggest pain problem, which we are very good in terms of solving in some of the use cases deployed. Second one is obviously automating some of the routine tasks. It's not like a typical old style of workflow automation in a structured system. If you have to automate some tasks on an unstructured data, like you got an email, you want to give it to a analyzer and say, okay, the customer has reported these issues. This is the summary of it. These could be the action items. And for this is the chain you need to do, whether you want to create a ticket in the Jira system or something, and then keep following it up and then tag to a release. This is a process, right? So where different products are trying to come up with their Copilot plugins kind of a thing, but there is no ecosystem where you will have one orchestrator which works with multiple things. That's what Surbhi has shown sometimes and all. But once we start building these agents, when I went for a rollout of customers, the first thing, can you go to the next slide? These are the typical problems we've seen to launch to the enterprises. The first one is obviously everyone is familiar, is P2 masking. So you are sending data to cloud in terms of commercial LLMs. Obviously you can't sometimes compromise with your customer details, their email IDs, addresses, phone numbers, SSN numbers, credit card details, or whatever be the use case, right? So that's most pivotal in terms of it need to guard. Don't send the actual data, whether we have two models of it, completely masking, or kind of redaction we call. Like we pass a dummy data masking to it, and then once the response comes, we actually replace it with a real value and show to the end user, but the data is never passed to LLMs. So P2 is one of the most important security guidelines people need to do. Then the second one, this is very interesting thing. So when I started working on these agents with this wealth manager firm, different teams started building agents. One of the team is HR. So what they have asked is, whatever the logs we are doing behind the scene in, well, any interactions happening between the employee and the assistant backend, it shouldn't be even logged anywhere in the log, including the questions, like complete masking. All it can do is, okay, there are some 2,000 interactions happened with a HR agent today, 10,000 or 2,000 are passed, 1,000 someone stopped in the middle, that footprint I need, but no interaction details about what he asked, what assistant responded. So complete masking of certain agents, but they want that information being logged for the admins for generic agents. So these are, this is one of the sensitive data related thing which need to be addressed by the frameworks when they are about to launch to massive scale within the employees, within the organizations. Then of course, publishing controls, like whatever agent building for a finance team, only the finance people need to access it. It can't be accessible to the other teams. So one of the easy model where in the organizations, whether you use Microsoft or Google, is your Active Directory of Microsoft and Google, where you create distribution list groups. So our solution has an ability to sync with those groups. At the time of publishing, you can publish to only finance team, that agent. So whoever leaving the org or joining, their regular onboarding will be controlled through the Active Directory. Immediately it will be synced here. So only those people will start seeing those agents. They can interact with those agents. That's one of the important rollout functionality required when you want to actually expand it within your org across the globe. These two covers it. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah, I briefly mentioned about role-based access control. So in terms of search, it's very, very important that because we kind of index all enterprise data, whether the data is coming from your Slack or Teams, it may be from your Zoom meetings, it could be from your HubSpot details or Salesforce details. So the data privacy is more important. If I am not even entitled to the data in the source system, it shouldn't be even considered in the answering for my query. So we have two modes again here. So sometimes what we have seen with some customers is they have a lot of data managed in the content management systems, but even the read access is not available to some people in the org. But the data there is okay to share within internally. So they index the data. So knowledge moderator is only the person who is having access to the content management system. He manages the data, but he is okay to expand it to everyone in the organization to query about the data. It could be as simple as maybe some, take an example of your HR policies, or maybe something related to product manuals within the organization, which anyone can see. So of course, audit logging, this is very important because when you want to scale the agents beyond some numbers like tens, hundreds, thousands, it's very, very important. If something is going on with the system, you need to trace what's happened and who actually created, who changed it. All the audit log need to be maintained by the product, so that is part of our admin console. Then of course SSOs. So we already support default Google, Microsoft, and email based, but on top we support SSO integrations also. We can integrate with your SAML or anything of your hosted SSO system. So when the app is set up, the users who signs up to the client interface can only, or even the admin interface, can only log in through your SSO account. Then comes workspaces. So in a bigger organizations, once we launched it, what we seen a very immediate requirement is different teams want to work like individual islands. Like they don't want to even see what's going on in that team who is building the agent and all. However, the whole system administrator want to have more control on or more metering capabilities in terms of which workspace agents created in which workspace are consuming more tokens, so I can control them. Like he want a eagle eye, but the guys who actually create the agents and distribute it, they need to work in their small islands kind of a thing. That's where we call workspaces. Is then? Okay, yeah, next one. Yeah, so banned topics, this is a very interesting thing. So AFO actually works on with commercial LLM ChatGPT 4.0, and we keep enhancing support for the multiple LLMs as well. But customers always wants like, okay, it's orchestrator, I can talk to the model, but I don't want to open it for any topic. If my employees are asking anything about this question, either you give this response or don't even entertain to pass it on to model. So the banned topics is one of the important functionality where you can open up the model in a more filtered model. Yeah, admin console, that's what I'm going to show very quickly, where you see how the agents are listed, observability of the agents, like what's happening with each agent and the interactions and the audit logging and all. I'm going to show it quickly. And SDK, so like Surbhi mentioned, like even we come up with our own interface. In some of the organizations, what we have seen is they have their own design systems for the internal apps to be hosted. It need to follow the design guidelines. So we are providing the whole application as an SDK, so end users can start build their own UI on top of this SDK, and they can launch within the internal organization. You go to the next one. Well, this I will show it directly during demo time. Let's show the demo directly. Okay, this is our app. It looks something similar to ChatGPT or Claude, where you see all the chat threads here, and you can start interacting with it most naturally. Since it has a orchestrator on the top, whatever I go and ask for, it can try to find its intent, like Surbhi mentioned, or I can even set an agent straight away like this. Like let me set an agent like, let's try the web search. I'm just asking a question. When is the AFO work breakout sessions planned? So they started answering from web search and quite given the full answer. So it's actually getting it from our core website, which is hosting a page for the event. From there, it is able to get the information and start giving the answer. So let's say someone was asking about data agent, right? Let me show that thing. Like search my email from Satish. Ramp. to list outstanding tasks. So here I am trying to find an email from my colleague Satish about FedRAMP certification, and the email actually lists some outstanding tasks. So this is actually powered and driven by the data agent framework which we built. What it does is it able to identify there is a person, and again this person is in the email system as a sender, and then it tried to look from my contacts. There are so many Satish available here, which one I can choose. Now if I go and give it, it tried to, if you see here, email from Satish Kumar with keywords FedRAMP, and the time range is, it took last 2 days. And then it found these outstanding tasks, and it also shows from where it got it. Like if I click on it, I can open up that email. This is the whole email chain. It was able to comprehend all these 11 messages, and from this content, it is able to generate. These are the action items which need to be, which are pending on my side to complete the FedRAMP certification. Now, typically, as a if I am a program manager and all, I have this tendency of, okay, let's convert it into a task list. So I will go, and we have a deep plugins created where if I give it to, okay, there's a glitch, probably for some, yeah. So here from this context, whatever it derived from that email and the action items, I'm trying to connect to a Jira system, and then I am saying, hey, can you just translate all these tasks into the action items? So what it did here is, it was able to identify 3 action items are there, and then it has that contextual understanding of which one to be mapped to which kind of project. Like there are 2 tasks which are mapped to DevOps kind of a thing, infra level. It is able to map to that project and assign from my user context whom I generally assign the tickets. It has the intelligence of auto mapping it from my memory which talks to my agent, and then something is a new feature. So it is trying to put in that project where the feature can be logged in, and then it is just assigning to the person whom I generally assign to it. So the beauty of this thing is, typically a program manager or someone, whatever he does with the system daily, if we give that feed to agents like these API agents, they know the user context, they know the system context, they can understand from the outcome what kind of a mappets we need to do in that system to create the record, and almost prefill all the information. So all I need to do is, okay, go there, get this thing. If I want to change something, by the way, it didn't get created any ticket, it is showing me the draft. So I go, I change, I want to add some attachments as a more evidence to it, I can attach it. I go ahead and create these things which will create in Jira as it is as records. So these are like you want to automate, like you want to improve the efficiency or productivity of some of the things you see in your organization where employees keeps doing by applying their understanding from the unstructured data, whether it is coming from an email or something, and then converting it into a different system of records in different systems, or updating some system of records. These kind of things are quite possible now with GenAI flows. It's all about doing the discovery of those use cases. Once you start doing it, it increases the productivity by NX. So that's more important. So let me quickly give you a glance of the admin console which I mentioned. This is the portal where once we onboard any customer, he comes into this portal, and he sees primarily 2 sections. One is account hub, where the system admins will be there. They manages the whole tenancy settings, like whether they want to set up a specific SS4, they can go and set up here. And sometimes this is very interesting feature where even Kore.com is our company. We have emails with Kore.com, and there are some emails with Kore.ai as well, though it's a single entity. So with bigger enterprises, they keep acquiring multiple small companies and they're retaining their domain names as it is with their emails and all, right? So here, once we add like a siblings, they can all fall under one tenancy. All the rules you can follow for it. And then this data settings, security settings, where I mentioned about if for certain agents you want to mask every communication, you can mask, or you want to keep it open, you can do it here. Data retention is one of the common feature, like as per the HIPAA and all, we support by default for 7 years, but you want to enforce your tenant specific data retention, like I don't want to store any of my data, whether I'm uploading some files or chat conversations or any agents being created beyond 1 year, you can change it. It will purge all the data. That's as per your SECAC regulations. And then this is workspaces. So workspaces is the place where different teams can start creating their agents, and they can start, like she presented, Surabhi presented different agents like search agents, API agents, prompt agents, and autonomous agents, right? Everything can be configured here, and you can manage in terms of whom you want to publish, whom you want to maintain and all, which she already presented in some of the GIFs. Then comes analytics. This is actually a very interesting thing with GenAI applications. So there are two levels of analytics customer is actually using. One is once they launch certain agents within their organization, they want to see usage in two levels. One is active users, how many people are coming, are they invoking the agents or not, is the first level. But the second level is the agent fulfilling the tasks? That's what one of the challenging thing with autonomous agents. Like sometimes someone may start with an interaction with an agent, like he want to send a proposal to someone, then he started interaction in the middle, he might have dropped off. So we need to know whether the fulfillment has been done or not. So these analytics are available even through an API export. So one of my customers is taking that export in periodic way, and then on that data he is preparing his own dashboards in terms of capturing all the analytics, which agent is having more access, and where he can. It's more helpful in terms of CI/CD, where they can get the feedback from the users and they try to improve that specific agents. Now, if you go into each analytics, we have an explainability of the whole interaction. Like this is the interaction, like I said, search my emails from Satish about FedRAM. Then the orchestrator check for the guardrail verification, it is allowed. Then it checks whether it is doing a small talk or not. Then it went for a query rephrasing, and then it identified an intent. It extracted the entities. You can see everything in terms of what happened here, like the user is Satish, topic is FedRAM, and time range is here. Once it identified these entities, there is an ambiguity resolution, which Satish, which it did. It went for the Gmail, it got the response back, and then from that it finally summarized the whole answer. It returned the answer. So imagine interacting with an email agent is very sensitive. You don't want to even capture these traces of interactions. Like I said about the feature, you can always mask for that particular agent. Only have the breadcrumb of event interactions. Don't capture any of the actual data, whether it could be even sometimes API data, like whatever request you're sending and receiving back. So this orchestrator, we have ability in terms of customizing as per the organizations. Like we are rolling out one feature very soon, where user can have a choice of whether he want to keep the intent identification, auto intent identification, or he want to turn off. He want to customize guardrails, he can customize on which topics and all. He want to customize small talk, he can customize. And also it has a feature of fallback, where certain customers of ours, like they already implemented some of the RAG based such solutions in their organizations, which they want to bring it on into this product. They don't want to use our such a. Even we have the flexibility in extending the orchestrator to talk to their rack solutions and bring the response back to us. So that way, this is fully customizable. Anywhere people want to deploy it, they can deploy by connecting to their respective agents as well. Now, the last thing I want to show, one thing is these teams where we deployed this solution, and you can see in Teams chart how you can interact with the AFO work and leveraging all its agents' behavior in terms of what agents it will start supporting and connecting to them and start using. So this way, if you are already using some messaging channels and you want to take example of a GenAI based assistant available in that channel itself, it is possible in deployment mode.